If we accepted creationism in the first place, we would recognize that God created viruses for a purpose. There's a reason. And therefore, we would accept the fact that, indeed, they must have some function. And we would start to look for the function instead of assuming they are bad. And in the United States, we have 7.3 U.S. cases of the coronavirus and 208,000 in the United States. H1N1, we had 60.8 million cases and 12,000 deaths. So in many ways, the H1N1 is more serious, except that deaths are more in this with the coronavirus. The feeling is that the coronavirus spreads very effectively, but it causes less death among younger people. It causes more death among people with pre-existing conditions, like lung disease, smokers, people are beyond a certain, above 60, and so on. So there are similarities and there are differences. Creating the virus, creating the vaccination, all they have to do is figure out the difference between, let's say, this guy, and then adjust the new vaccination to deal with the changes in the virus. Because we already have vaccinations for this guy, so we're all set. So that is the basic task that we have ahead of us. And so it is a serious problem, as the pastor brought out. And we are in many ways working by the seat of our pants. It's a new virus. We don't really know a lot about it. We are learning. The past 8 months, we've learned a great deal about it. And now they have treatments which hopefully, in most cases, are effective. The ventilator actually, they feel, killed more people than it helped because it works by pressure. Now the feeling is that we need to reduce the pressure, and the key is just more oxygen and not more pressure, because the original ventilators were designed to put pressure, which for some diseases you need. You need the pressure. But with the coronavirus, you don't. The reason the coronavirus evidently causes so many problems is because the immune system, the response, your body's response, is too aggressive. So they actually have to tone down the immune system, and that reduces the likelihood of deaths through the coronavirus. So your immune system needs to be less strong, not more strong, but less strong. And that's what they're working on. So learn a lot about it. What bothers me is that we're scaring everybody. And the schools, for example, young people are at basically zero risk of getting the virus. And so to close the schools, I think, was a big mistake. What you need to do is, like we've done with other viruses, you need to really carefully protect the vulnerable population, the older people, especially in nursing homes. And I don't recall the number died in nursing homes, but a huge number have died in nursing homes. And a huge number who are sick already. Like we had a neighbor that was in stage 4 bone cancer. And he is listed as dying of coronavirus. Well, he probably would have lived, they think, maybe 3 weeks beyond when he actually died. So he died a little bit early, but he didn't die because of the virus. He died just earlier than he normally would have, given he wouldn't have had the virus. So that's a concern. So we need herd immunity. Herd immunity is when you have about 70% of the population, on the average, have immunity. And that means if I have the virus and I give it to 9 people, 8 have herd immunity, so that's it. It doesn't go beyond that, except that one person. That one person, if he doesn't infect anybody, it's dead. So it stopped relatively quickly with herd immunity. And that's what I believe, that's what they need to deal with now, is herd immunity. We need young people to get it and become immune. That's the normal way we respond to viruses and bacteria. And I have a master's in public health, and I have a whole year of epidemiology, and that's what we were taught. And very clearly we were taught that's how you deal with it. And they're not dealing with it in that way, which may be because we just don't know that much about it, but on the other hand, I'm not sure why they're dealing with it that way. And so, and by the way, so many people get it and don't know they had it. I think that I had it, but I'm not sure. And I tried to be tested, and they said, I'm sorry, we can't test you. We can test you if you think you have it right now. I said, no, I think I had it 3 months ago. I'm sorry, we can't test you. So I wish I could be tested that way. I'd know for sure. And I wish I did know, but I didn't. Worldwide, we had the 34,000 people, I think, yeah, 34 million cases and 23 million recovered and 1.2 million deaths worldwide of the coronavirus. So you can see the number of deaths is small. But on the other hand, we probably all know somebody who died of the coronavirus. So I don't want to minimize it. And I guess I'm glad I'm not making those decisions because I wouldn't want to be wrong. I wouldn't want to give some advice, which I learned in school, which I thought was right, but turned out to be wrong, and 10,000 people die, and it's Bergman's fault. So I'm glad I'm not the one making these decisions. So I think they would rather err on caution as opposed to being too lenient. So, but when they started closing down cities, they realized that caused a lot of problems.